Welcome to the Access Files, an initiative filled with principles, action points, and strategies that I'm sure will enable you to make the most of what you've got. Speaking specifically of time. Today, I'll be focusing on the first of the 5 things I spoke about in our first episode, and that is God matters. Throughout the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, I realized that there were 3 things out of several that they've been telling us to do. 1, wash our hands daily. 2, keep our hands out of our faces. And 3, practice social distancing. Fundamentally, these principles all aim at one thing: stemming the spread of the coronavirus. To successfully stem the spread is really to make sure that we maintain excellent health. So as I go about talking about the fact that God matters, it dawned on me the reality that within these 3 things are 3 equal corresponding things that we can do to make sure that we keep our souls healthy. And you would know that sin preys on our souls because Satan wants to disrupt the depth of relationship that we have with God. So equally, I'm going to make the most of this time that I've got to deepen my relationship with God, and I want to encourage you to do similarly. We must indeed concentrate on making God priority in our life, namely in prayer, in Bible reading, Bible study, meditation and memorization, and in also making sure we stay tied to fellowshipping with the saints across the world, with our local assemblies and so on, by making sure we log into their online services. Because at the end of the day, to deepen your relationship with God is to strengthen your faith. Therefore, to really make God matter, I suggest we consider the 3 following principles. 1, like the coronavirus, we commit to keeping our hands out of our faces. Then we will also prove that God matters by committing to maintaining holy hands. In other words, we will not meddle in affairs that cause our hands to participate in acts that are not godly. The second thing is, like coronavirus, we commit to washing our hands daily and regularly. So equally, if God matters, we would have to commit to what I call priority examination. In other words, we will ask ourselves, where am I investing most of my time? How much time each day do I need to spend with God? And when we talk about that, we are talking about discipline. B, where do I spend my money? How much do I give to God and share with others? This speaks to attitude. Thirdly, what relationships and activities do I develop and devote myself to every day? Do I honor what God says about family? Do I respect relational boundaries? This speaks to integrity. Thirdly, coronavirus focuses on social distancing. Let us prove that God matters by what I call sin distancing. We have to make sure that the toxic relationships that we sometimes find ourselves in, even though not deliberately always, we have to make sure that we stem those activities and practices that have been weighing us down and squeezing the life from the faith and love of God. Paul said in Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight of sin that easily besets us." Let us, in other words, Paul is saying, let us sin distance and run with patience the race that is set before us. So as I wrap up, here are some action points that I want to encourage us to do, even as I myself practice. 1, give yourself to daily Bible reading, study, meditation, and memorization. 2, Consciously pray for the needs of those in your inner circle. And not only those in your inner circle, but pray for whosoever God brings to your remembrance at your time of prayer. Thirdly, let us practice fearing God. Reverence God. Let us walk with a heart of honor before God. Fourthly, let us make a habit of meeting God every day, carving out a location or space in our homes, on our workplaces or wherever, and really spending some time with God. The fifth thing we want to do is maintain a posture of gratitude and contentment. Let us be grateful for all that we've got and be contented with it. And finally, let us praise God daily. Every day, give God a praise moment. Carve some praise moments in your everyday. So let today be that day where we cut ourselves off from this regular enunciation from so many different people that, look, I believe if you ask them, how are things, they would always say things can be better. I challenge you like I challenge myself. Let us make today that day where our relationship becomes better. As I sign off, please remember to pass this video on to a friend and make sure you subscribe. I am Dr. Marlon Husbands, and I encourage you to join me in making the most of what we've got.